Good day, everyone. Thank you for being here. Today's presentation focuses on alternative approaches to risk management, a crucial topic in today's rapidly evolving business and governance environments. We will examine how risk management has transformed over time, the global standards that shape its practice, and the importance of aligning risk strategies with organizational goals. By the end of this session, you will be able to identify the key characteristics of internationally recognized risk management standards. Second, understand the role of organizational context in managing risk. And third, explain the principles and value of enterprise management, risk management, or ERM. These objectives reflects a shift from merely recognizing risk to proactively integrating into strategic decision making. The risk management has significantly evolved over the years. Initially, it was fragmented, focusing on isolated risk areas like finance, safety, or operations. But today, we use an integrated approach called the ERM, or the Enterprise Risk Management. This aligns risk with organizational strategy and embeds it in governance processes. It also allows organization to manage risk across departments in a coordinated and efficient manner. Moreover, we have also the operational risk management. It has also grown in importance, particularly in industries such as banking, healthcare, and logistics, where operational disruptions can have wide scale effects. The ERM is a structured, comprehensive approach that considers not only individual risk but also how these risks interact as part of a broader portfolio. Its primary purpose is to improve both strategic decision making and resource allocation by accounting for the interconnected nature of modern risk. The ERM is embedded in an organization's culture, policies, and planning cycles, making it not just a management tool but a governance imperative. The benefits of implementing ERM are substantial. We have financial. To make it financially, it leads to cost reduction through better forecasting and fewer disruptions. Operationally, it builds infrastructure resilience, improves morale, and increases process efficiency. We have also reputational. Uh, It strengthens compliance, trust, and public value. And in the marketplace, it enhances customer satisfaction and reduces service delivery failures. Therefore, it adds measurable value to every area of the business, from supply chains to board level strategy. The 2008 global financial crisis taught us an important lesson that failure was not due to lack of risk management systems, but rather poor implementation and communication of those systems. The crisis also highlighted the need for organization to define the risk appetite clearly, improve transparency, and ensure that risk assessments are integrated into executive level decision making. In today's dynamic environment, risks are no longer static. We face new risk in known contexts or in familiar setting, like we have new technologies, even cyber threats in banking, and there are also known risk in new contexts appearing in new setting like inflation affecting digital services, and completely new risks are emerging, such as those caused by AI and data ethics. Organizational resilience refers also to the ability to respond, adapt, and recover from unexpected events. So, the risk management now prioritizes adaptive capacity and crisis response over rigid control. A resilient organization needs to prevent, protect, and prepare in relation to resources and assets, and at the same time, to respond, recover, and review when crisis occurs. So, one example of the standard evolution is the replacement of British Standard 25999 with ISO 22301 in 2012, which focuses on societal security and business continuity. Other also robust standards include ASIS SPC 1-2009, which is known for its strong organizational resilience focus. There are several key risk standards. We have the ISO 31. This standard gives the global guideline for risk management principles and processes. We have also the COSO ARM in 2004. It's a US based framework that integrates risk with internal systems. We have also the British Standard 31100, offering a structured approach to risk, and also the IRM standard developed by the Institute of Risk Management, focusing on governance, culture, and capability. So these frameworks vary in origin and structure but aim to professionalize risk governance and encourage strategic alignment. Let's look at a comparative analysis of widely used ISO standards. Um, this ISO 31000 or 31000, this offers principles and guidelines for managing risk. It's flexible and applicable to all industries, though not certifiable. The ISO 9001 also focuses on the quality and the customer satisfaction. The ISO 14001 targets environmental compliance and sustainability. We have also the ISO 27001 that protects information security, critical for digital enterprises. We have also the ISO 28000 that manages security risk in the supply chain, and also the ISO 22300 of 2012. It is an international standard that defines terms used in security and resilience standards. So these standards adopt a risk-based approach and emphasize contextual awareness, and most are structured around the Annex SL framework, which also ensures consistency and makes integration easier across the system. We have also additional frameworks and approaches. Besides ISO and the COSO, there are other notable frameworks. We have the PDCA, or the Plan, Do, Check Act. It's a continuous improvement model. We have also the PIML, or the Plan, Implement, Measure, and Learn. Focuses on learning and evolution. We have also the Canadian Criteria of Control, or COCO. It's a Canadian model emphasizing internal controls. We have also the QBIT, that focuses on IT governance and information assurance, and also the King the Third Corporate Governance Code that it's from South Africa that integrates risk and ethics. So these frameworks can be selected and tailored based on industry, organizational size, and risk maturity. The COSO ARM features eight interrelated components. We have the internal environment, objective setting, event identification, risk assessment, we have risk response, control activities, information and communication, and also monitoring. And also categorizes risk into strategic, which is affecting long-term direction. We have also operational. Second is operational that related to day-to-day activities. Reporting that should have accuracy and reliability of reports, and also compliance, which is the adherence to laws and standards. The COSO emphasizes continuous feedback and improvement through monitoring. The role of risk registers remain a critical management tool. So they list identified risk controls and mitigation plans, also assign ownership and accountability, and also facilitate monitoring and decision making. However, to remain relevant, risk registers must be dynamic and continuously updated and should not be a static spreadsheet. The future is not just about identifying and listing risk in registers. It's about having an integrated system that's proportionate, aligned, comprehensive, embedded, and dynamic. Proportionate to the scale of operations, we have aligned with strategic goals, comprehensive across functions, embedded in governance and culture, and also dynamic, capable of evolving with emerging threats. So, this PASED model defines the future ready organization. So, thank you for your time and attention. As in conclusion, effective risk management is not about fear. It's about the preparation, alignment, and adaptability, whether through ISO 31000, COSO, or other frameworks. What matters most is how well the organization implements these tools in practice. Thank you so much. Have a good day.